We have a quorum?
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Well, we do not have a invocation, but I will call the special meeting of the Destin City Council September 9th, 2021 to order. Ma'am, would you like to lead us in the pledge? On a couple of our missing folks, are they coming? Should we drag our feet or just don't know? We'll just keep going then, if that suits everyone. We do have a quorum. So it says public comments, and there is no public. So I'm assuming that portion is not going to take place. So we'll just go right into new business. Is the first reading of ordinance 21-17-CN adopting the fiscal year 2022 millage rate.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 21-17-CN, an ordinance of the City of Destin of Okaloosa County, Florida, adopting the final levying of ad valorem taxes for the City of Destin for fiscal year 2022 and providing for an effective date.
All right, and this is just like all, it's a public hearing, correct? And there is no public, so I'll close the public hearing portion of it, and I'll entertain a motion at this time.
I move the council adopt ordinance 21-17-CN on the first reading, adopting proposed FY 2022 millage rate of 1.6150 mils, which is more than the rollback rate of 1.5566 by 3.75%.
I'll second.
I got a motion in a second. Do you have anything that you'd like to add to this before we have any discussion or questions?
No, go ahead and have some discussion. I did bring the same presentation I brought to the meeting 2 meetings ago, if you'd like to go over that again. But otherwise, I think we've gone over everything pretty thoroughly. I've made no changes since the August 30th meeting. And the tentative budget has been up on the website since September 1st. So I'm open to any comments or questions, suggestions, changes, anything you wish, and then go ahead and do your thing.
All right, thank you very much, Crystal. Any comments or questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and take, we have a motion, we have a second, we'll take this to the vote. Where's my little button? There we go. The vote is unanimous, so moved. Sir.
Mr. Mayor, we have the first reading of ordinance 21-18-CN, an ordinance of the City of Destin making appropriations for certain expenditures, expenses, capital improvements, and certain indebtedness of the City of Destin, Florida for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2021 and ending September 30, 2022 and providing for an effective date.
All right. As before, there's no public here to make any comment, so we'll just go right on to, I'll entertain a motion. Anyone?
I'll make the motion. Move that council adopt ordinance 21-17-CN on first read.
21-18.
Somebody else get it.
I move that the council adopt
Ordinance 21-18-CN on first reading to provide for a balanced budget for FY 2022 and schedule the second reading for September 20th, 2021 at the regular council meeting scheduled to commence at 6 p.m.
Second.
All righty then, I have a motion, I have a second. Any comments, Crystal?
No, in your, I'll just say this, in your agenda packet, I've summarized the total budget. Again, no changes. So we have the summary by major city function, general government, public safety, and so forth. And Then we attached exactly the tentative budget that I published up on our website, along with the advertisement that'll be published in the newspaper. It'll be published exactly like this unless you make any changes this evening.
Any comments to that effect?
I got two
Go ahead.
questions. One, is this something for us tonight, this budget meeting?
Lance, would you, that's the,
That was requested by one of the council members, so Crystal provided it. Generally, if one council member requests it, we provide it to all the council members.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was leftover from something else, and nobody said anything about it yet, so just want to make sure I wasn't missing something.
This was just explaining those contracts to make sure we weren't going and paying for things that we didn't have, like those generators and Ms.
Okay.
Preble had asked for it.
Sure.
So this is what it is.
And then, second thing, since in case anybody catches this meeting later, I have had a couple of citizens reach out about budget, and they say, "Oh my gosh, city's got $34 million budget." Of that $34 million, I mean, can you is it simple to say, well, I reminded them that there's a lot of that monies that is coming from, I think you have it called interlocal or intercounty funds. So it's not our city of Destin's money that's coming in that we're then turning around and spending. So
13 million.
correct, and it's a lot. And so I mean, I don't want to say our true budget is less than 34 million, but could you just a quick blurb of how that works of that 34,
yes.
just for the public's sake?
I think the most helpful is this advertisement that we're going to be putting into the newspaper. And so up here, we show all of the revenues. We have so you see at the top, the general fund will bring in a net of $8.2 million. After, people take their 4% of discounts and all of those things, right?
Crystal, real quick, can you reference what page that is? I've got it, but
Okay,
can you
so
reference what page that is so
in
that
the
people can go to the
attachment-
budget online and see it?
Yes, so this is the tentative budget that we posted on our website. There's a cover page, and then a table of contents, and then this is the third page. Yeah, and like I said, this will be published in the newspaper, pending any changes we might make this evening.
I will say that it is page 21 in the packet that people can access through our website.
Yes, so at the top here, you see the total, when you add in the two CRAs and the amounts that are dedicated to those two parts of our city, we expect to bring in about $8.9 million in ad valorem tax revenues. We also have sales and use taxes that are shared with us from the Florida Department of Revenue. We keep all of our parcels in a certain database with the Florida Department of Revenue that we update every month. And that's how they know how much sales and use taxes to give back to us. We have licenses and permits, which is about $2.8 million. So that's, the BTRs and the building permits and livery vessel application permits and so forth. Then we have intergovernmental revenue. Some of this is shared revenue from the state of Florida. But most of this, by far, is in the form of grants from the federal, state, and county levels. Next, we have charges for services. So this
And
is
real quick, just while you're on the grants, a lot of that money is going to the purchase of those beach parcels, right?
That's correct. Most everything is related to culture and recreation. So whether it be like the Clement Taylor Park, we're hoping to renovate next year, as well as purchasing more beach parcels. And also there's some grants in here from DOT. For example, there's a $2.7 million grant for right-of-way purchase for the Crosstown Connector. And that's underway. The parcels have all been identified, and we have an estimate of what it's going to cost to acquire them already. So that's well underway. Charges for services, fines and forfeitures, miscellaneous revenue, and then impact fees, which I conservatively estimate very low. We need to, we're in the process of updating our impact fee schedules right now. So these are the revenue sources. So if anybody wants to, you know, they can, I
That's,
think this
that's
is a really
perfect.
helpful.
That was
summary.
great. Thank you so much. And you've done an amazing job at all these meetings. It's just, you know, when you have somebody say, I got my tax slip and y'all, my taxes are increasing. And then you start talking, you got $36 million budget and, you know.
But just remind them that
and-
only
and-
25% of that is from ad valorem tax.
Exactly.
That's
And-
that's
you're
the
right.
easy answer.
And
Just
that's
say
what I
it.
tell them. And then, you know, and I explain to this. And then they're like, oh my gosh, you know, okay, you don't have all that money. So thank you so much for all your hard work. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Destin, I have you up.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Strickland, as we discussed it the last time that this was in front of us, we're reducing our unreserved or unencumbered funds by approximately 5 million.
That's correct.
And just give me an idea what that money is being spent on, since that's money that is coming out of our savings or reserves.
Yeah, the bulk of that, the $5 million is technically either restricted or committed by prior council motions or by grantors. So I don't have, well, actually I do. I have the summary right here, not too far where we can go into this. Here we go. So, for example, the Okaloosa half penny, we have saved up $3 million. We're going to dip into the fund balance it's nearly $2 million. So of the 5 million, nearly 2 million of that is Okaloosa half penny money that we're going to spend on purchasing another beach parcel.
Okay, so that half penny essentially is new revenue stream?
That's correct.
Okay, and that's 2 million, we've got 3 million to go.
Right. There's another million that is funds that are unexpended in our renewal and replacement fund. This is an informal fund. We haven't formalized it yet, and with a resolution or a motion. We'll be getting to that later on this year after I get proper asset and infrastructure evaluations and conditions. But for now, this year, we'll be dipping into that fund by $1 million. So that's 3 million of the 5. And then we have nearly 1 million of impact fees that we'll be using this coming year. Road impact fees and park impact fees that have come in over the past years that we'll be expending on certain projects that are related to growth in the city. So that's 4 million. And those are the remaining, what's that? So let me just see here. And the net change in the fund balance for next year is 4.4 million that we're going to be pulling out of the bank account, if you call it that. But again, most of this, by far, the bulk of it is from money that's been committed or assigned in one way or another.
Okay, and I guess my accounting skills are failing me. The half penny's new revenue. A number of these others are new revenue.
They're not new revenue. This is money that has built up in the bank accounts over the years. We've collected it and we're supposed to spend it on certain things, but we haven't for various reasons.
Okay, but the half cent, we consider that new?
That's absolutely new. That started in January of 2019. So now we have a year and a half of the half penny money under our, in our account.
Okay, so approximately 3 million would be in the other category that are the impact fees and some of the things we've collected. And those typically have been, for accounting purposes, been in the unreserved, the unencumbered reserves.
It's just been in our fund balance at the end of each year when we don't. So impact fees are considered restricted fund balance.
Historically, when was the last time that we dipped into that balance in the manner that we are this budget cycle?
I don't have that data in front of me. Different years we use more and use less, but it looks to me like the last 10 years we really haven't been using, especially the impact fees. You have to be careful because there's a time limit on them. You have to use them or give them back.
Have we run out of time?
We're running out of time. We've been working on the Compass system so that I can collect all of the data to know exactly which ones have expired.
Okay, well, I'm going to vote tonight for you, but between now and the next reading, I'd like to get a little more analysis on exactly which funds have to be spent. Because as I said at the last time we were examining the budget, to reduce that unencumbered funds for the first time in perhaps 10 years or more makes me a little bit nervous.
Well, that's just the restricted impact fee funds I'm talking about, not all of the funds. I'll have to do an analysis on that
Okay,
and get back to you.
that's the only question I have. Thanks.
Mr. Bagby?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, if you go to page 5 of the budget, it shows the FY 2022 ad valorem taxes, $8,236,657. Right?
Correct.
Okay, so when you go to the detail on page 12, that's not the number it shows for the ad valorem taxes. It shows $8,574,911.
That's correct. So in the millage rate description here, I listed out exactly, so we're going to be bringing in approximately $9.3 million, which is dedicated as $8.5 million from the general fund less $343,000 in discounts, plus the $402,000 for the town center CRA and the $856,000 in the harbor CRA. So that's right here.
Okay, but they still don't add up. I know, that's what's in the detail.
Right, because I have
That's
to-
what's on page 12, but
I
that's
have to
not,
summarize, but in the detail, which I didn't show how, there's another column outside of that where it shows how I sum these things. By generally accepted accounting standards, we net the discount piece with the revenue piece, but I need to show the full amount of the revenue up top, and then I show the amount we're netting out, which is for discounts and so forth. That's on a lower, let me see if it's on, you're looking at page
236.
12.
236, okay. Not 231, okay, so the
So
prior
it's-
year ad valorem taxes,
Yeah, right on,
so
is
those
this,
3 lines is what's in the summary,
that's correct.
okay? All right,
Tony? Okay, any further discussion or anything besides that? Well, we have a motion, we have a second, so let's go ahead and take it to a vote. Ayes have it, so moved. And I think that's pretty much it, because there's no public here for comments. So I think any questions between now and the next meeting, you know who to go talk to. And Kevin, just one thing that I've shared with people when they talk about our budget, you know, whether they're being critical or just inquisitive, as of 2020, we had the 4th lowest ad valorem tax in the state as a municipality, and the 7th lowest out of 56 counties, I think, in the state of Florida as county. So folks really benefit from the fact that tourism pays for a lot of the bills in Okaloosa County, and between that and the U.S. military. So that's one of the things that you can share with folks, especially if they're being a little critical of our budgetary expenditures and stuff here in the city of Destin. And usually when I bring that out, they don't say much, and every time someone says, well, why don't we do this and why don't we do that, then my next question to them is, well, how do you propose we pay for it? And that usually ends that discussion as well, just a FYI. All right, guys, any further, nothing else? Meeting adjourned.